Hello, this is Amir Qureshi. Thank you for joining me on my video blog. Today, I wanted to talk to you briefly about leadership in uncertain times. And before we talk about leadership in more detail, let's define uncertainty. Recently I started to research and look into what uncertainty really means, how it's defined, and I came up with a few interesting thoughts. Uncertainty is the feeling of not being sure what will happen in the future. Now, if you think about business, we always have had uncertainty, and uncertainty will always be around. But what the last few months have taught us is that the uncertainty because of COVID virus has actually increased exponentially. So all of us feel much more sensitive, much more vulnerable, much more unsure of how things are going to go in the future. But let's get back to the basics. Uncertainty will always exist in business, in your life, and so on. So, what we need to focus on are things that we can actually control. Now, let's talk about leadership in these uncertain times. At the moment, a lot of the leaders themselves are struggling because of the uncertainty. They don't know what to say to their team members, their staff members, their stakeholders. So, what do you need to do at times of uncertainty as far as leadership is concerned? Well, we always emphasize the need for sharing the vision, the mission, the values of the organization with your employees, with your stakeholders, with your broader team. So, during these uncertain times, it's just as important, in fact, even more important, to keep reinforcing those things, to keep people focused on what the purpose behind this organization that they work for is. What is the overall vision? How are we actually going to come out of it? And it's also extremely important that leaders communicate regularly with all of the team members, with the management team, with the executive management, and the broader team as a whole. Now, failure to communicate creates and more uncertainty in the minds of all the team members, and they start worrying about what may or may not happen. And if they don't get regular updates and feedback from you, then they're going to be concerned about the future of their positions, future of the business, and so on. So it's very, very important to communicate regularly and effectively. One of the things I wanted to touch on in this video blog is that at the moment, I see many organizations just paying lip service to leadership or to things such as caring for their employees. This is a time like no other in our history, at least in the recent times. It's very important that as you, if you're in a leadership or a senior management position, that you are authentic, that when you say something, you actually mean it, you actually follow through on the promises that you make or commitments that you undertake. This is not the time to actually lead by just making bold, bland statements and not following through. The leaders in this difficult time must set the example and follow through on what they say. This is the time to display authentic leadership to your teams, and you will earn their support, their respect, and their commitment. And especially when things do turn around, you will need these people to support your organization as you claw your way back out of the COVID crisis. Because, as they say, what comes around goes around, good times will inevitably return, and you will need your good people, your loyal people, your committed people more than ever before. Thank you for watching. This is Amir Qureshi. I'll see you next time.